Most people throw away half the flavor of every tomato they buy and never once realize it. A Nonna wasted nothing. Today, 25 clever tomato tricks she used to make everyone taste sweeter and last far longer, including the one that turns rock-hard pale tomatoes red and sweet in a day, and a number one that catches a whole summer of them in a jar. Let's get into it. Number 25. Peel a tomato in seconds, with no knife and no fighting it. Most people take a peeler to a raw tomato, tear the soft flesh to ribbons, and give up halfway. A Nonna never wrestled with it. She cut a small, shallow X in the skin at the base, slid the tomato into boiling water for just 30 seconds, then lifted it straight into a bowl of ice water. The instant it hit the cold, the skin shrank back from those cut edges and slipped off in 4 clean petals, leaving the tomato bare and glossy in her hand. The secret is the shock. The heat loosens the skin from the flesh, and the cold snaps it free. 30 seconds, no more, or it starts to cook. And the next one is the knife mistake that crushes half your tomato onto the board. Number 24. Slice a ripe tomato clean through with a serrated knife, never a straight one. You press a smooth blade down onto that tight, slippery skin, and instead of cutting, you crush the tomato flat and squeeze the juice and seeds out onto the board. A Nonna reached for the little serrated knife every single time. Those fine teeth catch and saw through the skin the moment they touch it, with almost no pressure at all, so the tomato keeps its shape and every drop of juice stays inside the slice where it belongs. It's the very same reason a bread knife glides through a soft loaf without squashing it. If these are the tricks you wish someone had taught you, subscribe and let's bring them back. And the next one is the place you must never keep a tomato. Number 23. Never store a ripe tomato in the refrigerator. It quietly kills it. This is the one almost everybody gets wrong. The cold, anywhere below about 55 degrees, does 2 cruel things at once. It stops the aroma compounds that make a tomato smell and taste like a tomato, and it turns the soft inside grainy and mealy. A Nonna kept hers out on the counter, out of the sun, and never once in the icebox. Even a couple of days in the cold, and the flavor never fully comes back, no matter how long you leave it out again. Ripe tomatoes belong on the counter, stem side down, at room temperature, and that's where they taste of something, and the next one makes them last days longer without a fridge at all. Number 22. Store your tomatoes stem side down and watch them last far longer. Sit a tomato the way it grew, stem up, and there's a small open scar where it left the vine, and through that scar, moisture escapes and air and mold spores creep in. A Nonna always turned them over. Resting each tomato stem side down on the counter seals that scar against the surface, so it holds its moisture in and keeps the spoilers out. Set them in a single layer, not piled in a bowl bruising each other, and they'll stay firm and sound for days longer than you'd think. Such a tiny thing, turning them upside down, and it's the difference between a good tomato and one gone soft. And the next one tells you how to pick the perfect tomato before you ever buy it. Number 21. Choose the perfect tomato with your nose, not your eyes. A tomato can look flawless and taste of absolutely nothing, a beautiful, red, watery disappointment. A Nonna never trusted the color. She lifted it to her nose and smelled the stem end, because a truly ripe tomato gives off that sweet, green, garden smell right there, and a flavorless one smells of nothing at all. Then she weighed it in her hand. A good tomato feels heavy for its size, full of juice, not light and hollow, and pressed gently for a little give, never rock hard, never mushy. Smell it, weigh it, feel it. Do that and you'll never carry home a bag of pretty, tasteless tomatoes again. And the next one draws the water out so your salad is never soggy. Number 20. Salt your tomatoes and let them drain before they ever touch a salad. You slice ripe tomatoes onto bread or into a salad, and minutes later the plate is swimming and the bread has gone to mush. A Nonna salted them first. She laid the slices out, gave them a light sprinkle of salt, and let them sit in a colander for 15 minutes, and the salt drew out all that loose water by simple osmosis. What's left is a firmer slice, with its flavor concentrated, sitting on bread that stays crisp underneath. That drained tomato water isn't wasted either. She'd tip it into a soup or a dressing. If a Nonna's kitchen is the one you'd have loved to grow up in, subscribe and pull up a chair. And the next one is the secret to a sauce that actually clings to your pasta. Number 19. Scoop out the seeds and jelly for a sauce that clings instead of sliding off. You wonder why your fresh tomato sauce comes out thin and watery and pools at the bottom of the plate. A Nonna knew the water wasn't in the flesh, it's in that seedy jelly in the middle. Before she cooked a tomato down for a thick sauce, she halved it and gave it a gentle squeeze, or scooped the seed pockets out with a thumb, taking most of the water with them. What was left was dense, meaty flesh that cooked down fast into a rich sauce that actually holds onto the pasta. Save that jelly for a stock, and nothing's lost. And the next one takes the sharp, sour edge off any sauce in seconds. Number 18. Take the sharp, sour bite out of a tomato sauce with one tiny pinch. Sometimes a sauce comes out mouth-puckeringly sharp, and you can't work out why. It's simply the natural acid in the tomatoes, more in some than others. A Nonna fixed it two ways. A small pinch of sugar balances the sourness by playing against it, the way it always has. But her cleverer trick was the tiniest pinch of baking soda stirred in, which actually neutralizes some of that acid outright. You'll see it fizz for a second as it works, leaving the sauce round, mellow, and sweet. Go gently, just a pinch, and taste as you go. It's real kitchen chemistry in a pot. And the next one is the exact trick you clicked this video to see. Number 17. Ripen hard, pale, flavorless tomatoes to red and sweet in a day or two. This is the one on the thumbnail, and it feels like magic the first time you try it. You've all got them, tomatoes bought too early, or picked before a frost, sitting rock hard and pale on the sill for a week and going nowhere. A Nonna knew exactly how to wake them up. She popped them into a paper bag with a ripe apple or a ripe banana, folded it shut, and left it on the counter. That ripe fruit breathes out a natural gas called ethylene, the very gas that ripens fruit from the inside, and trapped in the bag with the tomatoes, it turns them red, soft and sweet in a day or two. No windowsill, no waiting a fortnight, just a paper bag and an apple. And the next one is the tomato most people wrongly throw straight in the bin. Number 16. Never bin a soft, wrinkled, overripe tomato. It makes the finest sauce of all. We take the ugliest, softest tomato in the bowl, the one starting to wrinkle, and drop it in the trash. A Nonna's eyes lit up at that one. An overripe tomato is simply a tomato at its sweetest and most flavorful. Its sugars fully developed, its flesh already soft and ready to melt down. As long as there's no mold and it smells sweet, not sour, it isn't a tomato past saving. It's the best sauce in the house waiting to happen. And here's the truth a Nonna lived by. That soft, overripe tomato you were about to throw out is worth more than the perfect one, and it's knowing little things like that which quietly changes the way you cook. Every trick in this video, with the exact steps that make each one work, is written down in Nonna's Handbook. The link is in the description below. Now, number 15. The oven trick that makes a pale tomato taste sun-ripened. Number 15. Roast your tomatoes to concentrate a flavor you didn't know they had. A raw winter tomato can taste thin and watery, and no amount of simmering seems to save it. A nonna turned to the oven. She halved the tomatoes, laid them cut side up with a little oil, and roasted them slowly in a hot oven until they collapsed and caught golden at the edges. Two things happen in that heat. The water cooks away so the flavor concentrates down, and the sugars caramelize, turning even a dull tomato deep, sweet, and almost sun-ripened. That tray of roasted tomatoes becomes a sauce, a soup, a topping, intense where the raw fruit was flat. And the next one is the spoonful of paste you've been using wrong your whole life. Number 14. Toast your tomato paste in the pan before a single drop of liquid goes in. Most people squeeze tomato paste straight into a watery sauce and wonder why it tastes flat and a little tinny. A nonna always cooked it first. She dropped the paste into the hot oil at the bottom of the pan and stirred it for 2 or 3 minutes, letting it sizzle and darken from bright red to a deep brick color before anything else went in. That toasting caramelizes the sugars and cooks off the raw, tinned taste, building a deep, savory richness underneath the whole dish. It's the quiet step that separates a flat sauce from one with real depth. And the next one lets you keep summer tomatoes in your freezer with no work at all. Number 13. Freeze your tomatoes whole and let them peel themselves later. A glut of ripe tomatoes goes soft before you can use them, and peeling and cooking the whole lot at once feels like too much. A nonna froze them just as they were, whole, raw, skins on, straight into a bag in the freezer. No blanching, no chopping. Freezing does something wonderful. As the water inside turns to ice, it bursts the cells. So when you run a frozen tomato under warm water, the skin splits and slides straight off in your hand. They go mushy as they thaw, which is useless for a salad, but perfect for a sauce, a soup, or a stew. A whole summer harvest, saved in minutes, and the next one keeps them for a whole year on the shelf. Number 12. Dry your tomatoes and keep the taste of summer for a whole year. When the vines gave more than the family could ever eat, a nonna dried the surplus rather than watch it rot. She halved small tomatoes, salted them lightly, and laid them out in the hot sun for days, or on a tray in the very lowest oven, until every bit of moisture was gone and they were shrunken, leathery, and intensely sweet. Dried like that, their flavor concentrated right down, they keep for months in a jar in the cupboard. If you'd rather store them under oil, keep that jar in the fridge and use it within a week to be safe. A single summer tray, sweetening the pot in the dead of winter. And the next one makes sure not even the peel is wasted. Number 11. Waste absolutely nothing. Even the skins and cores have a job. Peeling and coring a pile of tomatoes leaves a heap of scraps most of us scrape straight into the bin. A nonna wasted none of it. She saved the tomato skins, dried them crisp in a low oven, then crushed them into a fine, deep red tomato powder to stir into soups and sauces for a hit of pure tomato. The cores and trimmings went into the pot with her other vegetable scraps to simmer into a light stock. Nothing left that kitchen that could still give a little flavor. That thrift is the whole soul of a nonna's cooking, and the next one gives you a silky sauce with no peeling at all. Number 10. Pass your tomatoes through a food mill and skip the peeling completely. Blanching and peeling a whole crate of tomatoes for sauce is long, hot work. A nonna often skipped it entirely with one old hand-cranked tool, the food mill, the passatudo. She cooked the tomatoes down whole, skins, seeds, and all, then turned them through the mill, and it pushed the smooth, bright red pulp through while trapping every skin and seed behind. What poured out was a silky, even passata, with no bitterness and none of the work of peeling at all. One turn of the handle did what a knife never could. And the next one is a chef's secret hiding inside the part you throw away. Number 9. Make clear tomato water from the seeds and jelly everyone throws out. That seedy, watery jelly you scoop from the middle looks like waste, but a nonna, and every clever cook after her, knew the secret in it. She gathered up all those scooped-out seed pockets, tipped them into a cloth or a fine sieve set over a bowl, and let them drip quietly for an hour or two. What collected underneath was tomato water, a clear, pale liquid that tastes shockingly, intensely of tomato, with none of the color. A splash of it lifts a salad dressing, a cold soup, or a piece of fish like a magic seasoning. Pure flavor, from the part you were about to bin, and the next one turns the biggest tomatoes into a whole meal. Number 8. Hollow out the big tomatoes and bake them into a meal all on their own. A few enormous, misshapen tomatoes are too much for a salad and too handsome to waste. A nonna made them the star. She sliced the tops off and scooped out the insides, saving that flesh for a sauce, of course, then filled the hollow shells with rice, herbs, and a little of the scooped tomato, and baked them slowly until the rice was tender and the shells had softened and sweetened in the heat. Pomodori ripieni, stuffed tomatoes, a humble, beautiful supper made almost entirely of the tomato itself, and the next one saves the hard green ones that never had a chance to ripen. Number 7. Don't waste the hard green tomatoes at the very end of the season. When the cold comes and the last tomatoes on the vine will never ripen, most people give up on them. A nonna never did. She used them firm and green and tart, just as they were, sliced thick, dusted in flour, and fried crisp in a hot pan, or cooked down slowly with sugar and vinegar into a sharp, tangy relish for cold meats and cheese. Green and unripe wasn't a failure to her, it was simply a different ingredient with its own bright, sour character. The very last of the harvest, and still nothing wasted. And the next one is the simplest fix for a tomato that tastes of nothing. Number 6. Bring a cold tomato back to room temperature before you dare to taste it. You pull a tomato from the fridge, or even a cool pantry, slice it straight away, and it tastes dull and flat and hard. A nonna would never serve one cold. She always set the tomatoes out on the counter an hour or so before a meal, because a little warmth wakes up those sleeping aroma compounds and lets the sweetness and scent come flooding back. The very same tomato, eaten cold or eaten at room temperature, is almost two different fruits. Just an hour on the counter, and the flavor returns. It costs nothing but a little patience, and the next one makes sure you buy the right tomato for the job. Number 5. Match the tomato to the task, because they are not all the same. People grab any tomato for anything and then wonder why the sauce is watery or the salad is bland. A nonna chose with care. For sauce, she wanted the plum tomatoes, the San Marzano kind, long and meaty, packed with dense flesh and very little water and seed, so they cook down thick and fast. For a salad, she wanted the round, juicy ones, sweet and full of that fresh liquid. Using a watery salad tomato for sauce gives you soup, and a dry paste tomato in a salad gives you cardboard. The right tomato for the right plate. And the next one is the cheapest way there is to wake a tomato up. Number 4. A single pinch of salt on a raw tomato transforms it completely. A perfectly ripe tomato, sliced and eaten plain, can still somehow taste like it's missing something. A nonna always reached for the salt. That little pinch does far more than season it. Salt actually suppresses our sense of bitterness and lets the sweetness and the deep, savory side of the tomato come forward, so the fruit tastes more like itself than it did a moment before. Sprinkle it on, Wait a minute for the salt to draw a bead of juice to the surface, and taste the difference. The cheapest trick in the whole kitchen, and one of the truest. And the next one bursts a handful of little tomatoes into sauce in 10 minutes. Number 3. Burst whole cherry tomatoes in a hot pan for an instant sauce. When there was no time for a long sauce but a basket of little tomatoes on the side, Nonna made magic in minutes. She tipped whole cherry or small tomatoes into a hot pan with a little oil and a clove of garlic, and let them sizzle, shaking now and then, until the skins blistered and split, and the tomatoes collapsed all at once into a sweet, jammy sauce, 10 minutes at the most. The high heat concentrates their sugars fast, and because they're small, they give up their juice quickly. Toss it through pasta straight from the pan. And the next one is the long, slow sauce a whole family waited all week for. Number 2. The Sunday shugo, the long, slow sauce that was worth the whole day. This was the sauce that filled the house with its smell every Sunday. Nonna started it in the morning. Good tomatoes, a little oil, garlic, and a few leaves of basil, brought to a bare whisper of a simmer, and then left alone for hours, barely bubbling. In that long, gentle heat, the tomatoes break all the way down, the water slowly cooks away, and the sugars deepen until a bright, sharp pot of tomatoes becomes a dark, thick, sweet sauce with a richness no quick sauce can ever touch. Time was her secret ingredient, and it cost nothing at all. And the next one, number 1, catches that whole flavor and keeps it for the winter. Number 1, put up the summer harvest in jars and taste August in the depths of January. This was the great ritual of Nonna's whole year, and the most magical thing she ever did with a tomato. When they were ripe and cheap by the crate, the family gave over a whole day to it, cooking the tomatoes right down, passing them through the mill into a smooth passata, and ladling that summer red sauce into jar after jar. Into each one went a spoonful of lemon juice to keep it safely acidic. Then the lids went on, and the jars were boiled in a big water bath to seal them tight. Lined up on the pantry shelf, those jars held the whole taste of summer, and all winter long she opened them one at a time, keeping each in the fridge once it was opened, and put August on the table while the snow fell outside. A shelf full of glowing red jars, like lanterns saved from the sun. That, more than any other trick, was how Nonna's kitchen never truly lost the summer. So there they are, 25 clever tomato tricks Nonna used to pull every last drop of flavor from the humblest fruit in the kitchen and never waste a single one. Learn even a handful of these and you'll buy better, keep them longer, and taste the difference in everything you cook. If you'd like them all gathered in one place, with the steps that bring them to life, they're written down in Nonna's Handbook, linked in the description below. And that big cast iron pan Nonna cooked nearly all of this in, how she seasoned it, cleaned it, and kept it going for 50 years, is in the video on your screen right now, so go and watch that one next. Subscribe, and let's keep bringing back the wisdom the world was about to forget.